Yo, what is going on, guys? It's C-Rev. Welcome to another MLB The Show 20 card review. In this one, I'm going to be going over 87 overall Prospect Michael Kopech from the Chicago White Sox. This card is obtainable through the Set 2 Prospects pack, or you can buy him off the marketplace. His price has risen quite a bit since he's left packs. He's currently selling for around 50,000 stubs. So this one was highly requested from you guys for obvious reasons. Michael Kopech, super hyped prospect coming through the White Sox organization right now. And he has the outlier in game, which allows his fastball to hit 102 miles an hour. So he throws absolute gas. His stuff is nasty. That being said, I don't think he was as dominant as I was expecting him to be. I would rate him as an above average pitcher, but not one of those guys that's just going to dominate most of the times when he steps on the mound. So this card has a couple flaws. One of the smaller flaws is his stamina. 84 stamina is pretty low for a starting pitcher. And given the fact that you're going to be wanting to throw gas with this card, you're going to want to be throwing those 102 mile an hour fastballs, which means you're going to be throwing pitches harder. I think his stamina depletes a lot faster than other pitchers. At least that was subjective, but that was my experience. I think people have kind of figured out that if they work the count against this guy, that it's a really good strategy, because working the count against this guy also synergizes with his bigger issue, which is his control, specifically with his off-speed pitches. Trying to locate this guy's off-speed for strikes is kind of a nightmare. It has a lot of break. His slider has a lot of break. All three of his off-speed has a good break, honestly. But I don't know if it's his low walks per nine, his low control rating, if I was just pitching poorly, but I had a really tough time throwing off-speed for strikes with this card, and I found that if my opponent was able to hit the fastball, that I was in a lot of trouble with this card. So he's almost gimmicky in a sense, that if you run into someone who just can't catch up to 102, it's pretty much a free win. But if you run into someone that's on 102 every time you throw it, you're going to be in a lot of trouble with this card. I know that's kind of obvious for you guys, but that was my experience. Another thing about his control is when he pitches from the stretch, it's very weird. I don't know what it is. It's almost like how Ohtani pitches from the stretch, but it's just like a millisecond longer. Using analog pitching and trying to pitch out of the stretch with this card, I was just missing my spots like crazy, even more than from the windup. I think it's very hard to control this card from the stretch. I think when your opponent has people on base against this card, that he has a tendency to give up big innings, because once you let someone on base, it's just harder and harder to get outs. That was kind of my experience with this guy. So I'm saying a lot of negative things, don't get me wrong. This guy throws gas, his stuff is nasty, he's a great pitcher in game, just not completely dominant in the way that I was hoping for. One more thing I wanted to say about Michael Kopech, as far as pitching efficiently with him, effectively with him, I think I should have thrown more two-seam fastballs. This is a strategy I'm seeing a lot of people use with Aroldis Chapman and his outlier. Because the four-seamer is able to be gassed up to 102, it makes his 96 mile an hour two-seamer kind of throw people off a lot. So if people are geared up for the 102, they're going to be swinging early at 96, and that may be an effective way to get some ground outs and to pitch to contact. So looking back on it, I definitely should have thrown more two-seamers. I think if you throw a good amount of two-seamers, specifically to someone with a fast bat that seems to be able to handle the 102, I think that's a really effective strategy with this card. But bottom line, if you can locate and you can throw strikes, this guy is going to dominate. But I had a very tough time doing so, and when I played someone that could hit the 102 fastball, it was kind of a tough time. So as always, we'll rate the card how he rates in the meta, and we'll rate him compared to how much he costs. How he rates in the meta, I'll still give him an A-. I still think he's maybe borderline top 5 and probably top 10 in the game right now as far as starting pitchers go. And for the price, I'll give him a B+, because 50,000 stubs is kind of a lot right now, especially when you can get guys like Maddux for 10K. I'm not saying Maddux is better than Kopech. I'm just saying Kopech might not be 40K stubs better than Maddux. So Hope you guys enjoyed this card review. A lot of y'all were asking me for this one, so I hope I delivered. I am looking at Oswalt and Luzardo next for starting pitchers. Pearson as well when I can get around to affording him, because he costs so many stubs. So stay tuned for those. Drop a comment down below if you want me to review anyone particular. I read all those comments. Enjoy the clips after this, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I like him, man. I've also been using him for close to 2 years now, so it could just be a feel thing by now. What is the link for, Max? Thanks, Ambly. I probably won't forget that now, so thank you. Oh my god. If that was remotely competitive, he probably would have swung at it.
You don't know how to play.
Ellipsis. Alright, off speed for strikes. Come on, Michael. Okay. Here we go. Hey, thanks, J-Hi. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for coming and checking out the stream as well. Welcome in. It's a whole different at bat if you can locate your off-speed, chat. Just pump the gas. No, he's sitting fastball, especially early. Ellipsis. It's a mobile issue, Sarah. It's just like a glitch with Twitch right now. I don't know if it's because a lot of people are using it or what, but it's on there like frequently asked questions, I believe. This dude is a check swing god. You can see other streams? That's unfortunate. I don't know. I don't know. Dude, this shit's glitching. I'm gonna get disconnect loss. Watch this shit, chat. Ellipsis.